Finally revealed, Philips' Magnifier engine can slash your electric bill by more than 70%, almost overnight. Guaranteed.
My name is Darren Holman. In a couple of minutes, you'll see how I took a magnifying glass, which my kids used to fry ants on the sidewalk, and used it to power my entire home and slashed my energy bill by more than 70% in under 3 weeks. Now, I know it may be hard to believe, but this may change your mind. You're going to see how an invention developed by Philips Electronics in the 1950s, yes, the same Philips Electronics selling DVD players at Walmart, before they eventually decided to hide their breakthrough and keep it a secret, is now being used by 66,492 American families to provide them with unlimited power, all from the free and infinite energy of the sun. And they're doing it all without solar panels. But I have to warn you, by the end of this very short presentation, you may be extremely furious that you sent your precious money to the big energy fat cats or scraped the bottom of the barrel at home just to keep your lights on, when this incredible magnifier engine was out there all along, just waiting to pump out enough energy to power an entire 4-bedroom home. Inside this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can set up this engine with dirt-cheap supplies from your local hardware store. And you won't need an engineering degree to do it. We'll get to that in a second. But first, let me tell you a little bit more about myself and why I'm able to smile as I open my utility bill every month and see a check with my name on it written from the same energy company that had robbed me blind for years. Like I said, my name is Darren Holman. I'm 62 years young, and I live about 45 minutes outside of Cleveland, Ohio, with my wife and our black Labrador, Billy. If you had told me 2 years ago that I would be able to help more than 66,000 American families get out from under the thumb of big energy, kick their energy addiction, and start generating their own power using a homemade engine from parts at their local hardware store, I would have told you to go find a good psychiatrist. But here I am, getting hundreds of letters and emails every month from people like Mike Wilson, who wrote in not too long ago to say this: "Sometimes I'll just go outside to watch my meter spin backwards, and I have to chuckle to myself knowing that someone at the energy company is going to have to write me a check this month." Or Kristen Owen, who says, "First of all, I couldn't believe that my husband was able to build this thing since he can barely screw in a light bulb. But since he did it, we've been saving around 90% on our energy bill every month. We were even able to take a 9-day cruise last month with all the extra money." Those are just a couple of the emails I get every month from families who were fed up with living under the billionaire energy snob's reign of terror, and who are thrilled to have finally taken control of their energy. In case you can't tell, I'm passionate about this, and there's a very good reason why. So let me quickly tell you about my wife, how I lost our life savings and almost ended up on the street, and how this seeming disaster led me to accidentally discovering an invention that would change my life and the lives of 66,492 other Americans. 3 years ago, I was getting ready to retire early, thanks to my wife Catherine and I investing our money wisely. But exactly 43 days after I retired, the investment company that had all of our savings was shut down by the FBI for fraud. In just one day, we lost everything we had saved. 35 years of savings, all completely gone. I felt like I'd been stabbed in the back and someone was just twisting the blade mercilessly, especially since the advisor at the investment company was someone I'd considered a friend and who I thought was looking out for my family's best interest. I was so furious I couldn't even see straight, and the only comfort I found was in the fact that the feds had hauled that so-called friend, along with all the other thieves he worked with, off to jail. It was the middle of winter, and the bills were stacking up fast as the freezing snow and wind belted our home. We sold our second car just to get some breathing room and put food on the table. I called my bank to try to take out a mortgage on our home, but because of the recession, our home was completely underwater and they had no interest. All of our hopes and dreams were totally crushed, and it seemed like no one was willing to help us. And as I watched my wife fall asleep crying each night, I couldn't help but feel utterly helpless. So I decided to do something. I didn't know what I was looking for, but I knew where I could start. We canceled our internet service to save money, and I took our laptop down to the coffee shop in the local mall to treat myself to a cup of joe and use the free internet. As I looked over our monthly budget sheet, I almost threw up at how much money we were shelling out to the power company each month just to keep the lights on and the heat going. I was already pissed having just lost my life savings, and now I'm faced with the fact that we're spending $220 and sometimes even closer to $300 on power every month. There had to be a way to reduce my dependence on the big energy companies and lower my monthly energy bill. The greenies never shut up about solar, so maybe that was a good alternative. I pounded away at my laptop, looking for local companies that did solar panels. And my eyes almost popped out of my head when I saw that price tag for one of these systems was around $10,000. Even the DIY solar panel systems I found were still too expensive for someone living 2 steps away from the poorhouse. What about wind power, I thought. I looked out the window and saw giant gusts of wind thrashing in the snow outside. Well, upon deeper research, it seemed like the saying, "fickle as the wind," was appropriate, as I read that the technology was still unreliable, not to mention that they looked hideous outside your home. Gas generators were another option I saw people talking about online. But having just filled up my gas tank, I knew that constantly running one of those generators would be expensive, not to mention so annoying and loud. I was starting to feel like a rat trapped in a corner trying desperately to find a way out. There had to be another way. Frustrated, I decided to take a break and walk around the mall, which is when I discovered the simple invention that would change my life forever. As I passed one of those novelty toy stores, I noticed a small crowd of people had gathered in front of one strange toy in particular. It looked like a very small, handheld Ferris wheel, about the diameter of a baseball. It was standing in place on a little circular base plate that could fit in the palm of your hand. This mini Ferris wheel was spinning furiously, powered by a single piston. But as I inspected it, I didn't see any space for batteries or a power cord coming from it. I asked the store employee who was holding it what was causing the wheel to spin. He blew my mind and everyone else's standing there when he said, "The heat from my hand." We all looked at each other confused. "I swear it's true," he said, almost pleading with us. "It's some kind of self-powered toy," he tried to explain. He set the wheel down on the display table, and sure enough, it slowly stopped spinning. I picked it up myself and set the base of it on my open palm. I gave the wheel a little spin, and in a couple of seconds it was back at it, whirling around and around, with no assistance from me or an electricity source whatsoever. And that was when lightning struck my brain. What if I could build a larger version of this heat-powered toy engine to power my home? I rushed back to my computer and spent the next few weeks researching this type of heated air toy. I plowed through article after article, website after website, devouring any and all information I could about self-sustaining engines. I was absolutely blown away that I had never heard of this incredible invention. The science behind why the toy worked was pretty simple. Air expands when you heat it up, which is why hot air rises to the top of your house. Toy engines like the one I'd seen use a heat source to heat up air inside of a chamber. The air then expands and pushes a piston in one direction away from the heat source. As the piston moves away, the air is cooled, which causes the piston to move back in the opposite direction. And the piston is attached to a wheel, which then starts to spin. Apparently, the scientific concepts behind how this engine worked had first been invented by someone in Scotland in the 1800s. But besides an experiment by Philips Electronics in the 1950s, where they apparently used the same scientific principles to create an engine of their own, before suddenly and inexplicably shelving their project, this type of self-sustaining energy generation had always remained hidden from the public. My idea was this: if I could get this heat-powered engine to spin a large enough wheel, then maybe I could use it like a generator to produce electricity to power my house. The only problem was that I had to keep a heat source next to the chamber, like the heat from your palm. And the engine designs I'd seen online were so small that they could be powered by a candle, but to power my entire home, I'd need a much larger heat source. Which is where I ran into problems. It didn't look like anyone had ever attempted to power their entire home with a heated air engine before, so I would be breaking new ground. I started with the most obvious heat sources I knew, gas and electricity. I thought about using some kind of electrical coil or a natural gas burner like a stovetop to power my engine. I crunched the numbers, and powering the engine would cost me just $20, way less than what I was paying right now to power my entire home. But that wasn't good enough for me. I wanted to rely as little as possible on the thoughtless energy monopolies who were sucking away precious dollars from me and my wife every single month. So I had to find another way to provide free, unlimited, and clean heat to my air engine. I went back to the drawing board and kept sourcing online engineering journals and online discussion forums for ideas about heat sources. I chatted with off-grid folks, engineers, designers, and anyone else who would talk with me, and I kept coming up empty. I had been doing nothing but research heated air engines for almost 2 months, and I was starting to get really discouraged. But my breakthrough came once again at the local mall where I was sitting in the little coffee shop researching. I really enjoyed taking mini breaks to people watch other patrons in the coffee shop. And as I sat there taking a breather, I noticed a little old lady sitting by herself a few tables over from me, drinking some tea and reading the newspaper. Her eyesight must have been absolutely terrible because she was using a magnifying glass to read the newspaper print. For whatever reason, seeing that magnifying glass made me think back to when I was a kid. One of my favorite pastimes was to use a magnifying glass to focus the sun's rays into a tiny, super hot dot that could burn through leaves and even ants. I think the lady felt me staring at her, and she looked up and smiled. I smiled back, and that was when it hit me. I had just discovered all of the free, limitless, and totally pure heat energy I could ever use. Because if I could somehow use a magnifying glass to focus the sun's rays into my engine, then I could power it completely for free. Of course, I couldn't use a handheld magnifying glass because it would be too small. I discovered that what I would need was something called a parabolic lens, which is basically a giant curved mirror. This would reflect the sun's rays into a single point on my engine at a temperature of over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. I had never heard of one of these things and thought it would be really hard to find, but I was able to get one for free from my local junkyard. You can find one online for under $100. I now had everything I would need to set up this heated air engine to power my home using pure sunlight. Plus, I could still use natural gas to power the engine when it was dark or during bad weather, or even run a tiny amount of electricity into the engine and have it amplify the amount of power I got from it by more than 20 times. So I put what little money we had left into setting up the very first prototype of what my wife and I had started calling our Magnifier engine. I found some of the parts I needed at a local junkyard and others I ordered from an online store. All said and done, the Magnifier engine took me about 3 hours to set up, and it was about the size of a small letter desk, which meant it could be put almost anywhere. I had spent less than 5% of what I would have had to shell out to get one of those solar systems installed in my home. But the real test was when my next energy bill came the next month. My wife and I slowly peeled the envelope open, our insides churning with nervousness. We had to pick our jaws up off the floor when we saw that we had cut our monthly energy bill from $164 to $23 a month. I think we were both a little surprised that I'd been able to build something like this since I hadn't picked up a tool since I was a teenager. But we couldn't argue with the results, and we decided to have our friends Bob and Rita Wade over to celebrate. Of course, Bob was very interested in the Magnifier engine, not only because he'd been an electrical engineer for over 35 years, but also because I saw his eyes light up when I talked about slashing our utility bill by more than 80%. He asked if I had any plans, instructions, or blueprints I could show him, and I said I'd put some together. Coming from a background in engineering, Bob probably thought my materials list and instructions were written by a kindergartner, and I got kind of nervous when I didn't hear back from him for a couple of weeks after I sent the papers over. But then one evening my phone rang, and when I picked it up I heard Bob's frantic voice on the other end of the line. He was ecstatic, and I could barely understand him because he was talking so fast. Not only was he able to get the Magnifier engine working, but he had made some adjustments to it and was able to increase its efficiency. Bob told me that the Magnifier engine he built had cut his energy bill by over 90%. I could hear his voice crackling a little as he held back tears because he and Rita were now able to start saving for a dream vacation. I got goosebumps as I listened to him talk and could hardly believe that my crazy little Magnifier engine had actually changed someone's life. As a way to say thanks, he said he had taken the liberty of writing up an incredibly detailed materials list, including the precise size and quantity of each item to get and where to find it. He also drew up some illustrated guides of exactly how he built the engine from start to finish, which he said he'd send over to me. Needless to say, word spread quickly through our group of friends and then beyond. It wasn't long before I was getting phone calls and emails from people I'd never even met, asking if I could send them the materials list and instructions for the Magnifier engine. Bob and I shot some over-the-shoulder videos where I showed exactly how to build the Magnifier engine from start to finish, and people kept calling and emailing. I heard incredible stories about how the Magnifier engine had let people finally get out of debt or start putting money away for their kids' college funds. And while it felt good that first time I saw my own energy bill drop, when I was able to help other people start taking control of their lives and their energy, to hear the relief, the peace, and the confidence of the people in our community standing up and saying no to the energy mongrels who had been shaking us down for decades, that's when I felt like we had won. And I knew that I needed to get the Magnifier engine out to as many people as I could. So I took all the detailed materials, illustrated guides, and follow-along videos created by my engineer friend Bob, and I packaged them together into the Magnifier engine kit that lets anyone, no matter what their background, build this energy bill-slashing machine. I had to be able to build this thing myself, and I'm about as handy with a wrench as a baby with a rattle, which is why the Magnifier engine program I put together is so easy to use and designed from start to finish with the average Joe in mind. I've heard from coffee shop workers, teachers, moms, sales guys, and they've all been able to build the Magnifier engine with no problems whatsoever, typically in about 3 hours. Plus, because this engine runs primarily on sunlight and fits in the trunk of almost any car, it's also incredibly portable and is something you can take with you when you're out camping or if there's a disaster or emergency and you need to retreat to a remote location. Now, as far as specifics, when you invest in the Magnifier engine system, here's exactly what you get. First, you get the entire materials list you'll need to build the Magnifier engine and start hacking away at your energy consumption. As I've mentioned, everything you need can be purchased at your hardware store cheaply. But you'll also be shocked to find that you probably already have a lot of required items sitting right in your garage, or that you can find them in a junkyard for free. Plus, because all of these parts are pretty basic and durable, it means your Magnifier engine is surprisingly rugged and can remain outside your home even in the harshest elements without the risk of being damaged. Secondly, you'll get our illustrated guides for setting up the engine, all illustrated beautifully and clearly. Finally, you'll also get our over-the-shoulder videos where I walk you through every step of the process. There aren't some cheesy, blurry, or out-of-focus home videos slapped together in a weekend. These are well-made and painstakingly detailed videos that let you watch along just as if you were standing right behind me watching me perform every step of the build. I get dozens of emails every month from people telling me how much they just love the videos and how they make the whole setup process a complete breeze. Now, in order to make the Magnifier engine so easy to install, we break the over-the-shoulder videos up into 3 convenient sections. In the first video, you'll learn how to build the engine using the parts that you can find at your local hardware store, junkyard, and also online. The second part of the project is to get the engine running using 2 different heat sources. This is where it gets really exciting and what makes the Magnifier engine so versatile. Remember when I said I could power my engine using sunlight? Well, think back to when you were a kid and you used to fry ants or leaves on the sidewalk using a magnifying glass. That's exactly how you'll be powering your Magnifier engine and ultimately your home. But of course, there isn't always sunlight, so at night and on cloudy days, your Magnifier engine will run off a gas line. So I'll show you how to power your Magnifier engine off natural gas for times where the sun isn't out.
All it takes to run your magnifier engine off natural gas is an incredibly simple converter which costs around $15. Plus, you'll also see how to use a cheap $5 timer from the hardware store to have your engine switch from solar to gas or electricity automatically without you even noticing it's happening. The final step of the whole process is to hook your magnifier engine up to your home. And I'll show you exactly how you can do that easily and safely. You'll never be dependent upon the electric company again for as long as you live. Plus, my magnifier engine is so incredibly simple to build and has so few moving parts, this little mini power plant has virtually zero maintenance required. It's essentially a set and forget setup, and after a few months, you might not even remember that you ever used to pay for your electricity in the first place. Just like Annie Foster of Chicago, Illinois, she writes, "As a single mom of 4 young children, I know the true meaning of the term pinching pennies. I'm always looking to save extra money, and after watching your presentation, I was excited to give the magnifier engine a shot. From the moment I opened the first step-by-step video, I was extremely impressed. Everything is so well organized, and building the engine itself was way easier than I thought it would be. I can barely hang up a picture on my own, yet I had my magnifier engine up and generating power in less than 3 hours. More importantly than that, however, is the fact that I'm saving a boatload of money. In my very first month, my power bill dropped from $140 to $20, and it hasn't been above $23 since. That's an extra $1,600 in my pocket for the next year, and it's giving me the ability to do all kinds of things for my kids I couldn't afford to before. Thank you." And Rand Denton of Benton, Arkansas, who says, "My wife Lori and I have been married for 45 years. We have the kind of relationship most people dream about. We're best friends, and we hardly ever argue. In fact, one of the only things we've ever consistently butted heads on is the thermostat. Lori always likes the home nice and cold during the summer months, and that used to be the source of too many fights to even count. I wanted my wife to be comfortable, but I always said we couldn't go broke doing it. Well, with the magnifier engine, I feel like I'm having my cake and eating it too. Even when Lori blasts the AC at 68 during those hot summer months, my power bill is still under $20. It makes me so happy to see her happy, and I'm so relieved to no longer have to fight with her about this. Thanks." Now, I'm sure you're anxious to know what you need to do to get your hands on the magnifier engine system right now. And I'm going to get you all of that in just a moment. But before I do, I want you to just close your eyes and think about what your life would be like with this incredible engine powering your house. Imagine waking up on a chilly morning and cranking up your heater without a single thought about how much it will cost you. Or running the AC nonstop during the summer, so even as it's sweltering outside, you and your family remain blissfully cool in your home. Think about how it'll feel to open your electric bill each month and see that it's under $10. Or even better, that because you generated so much electricity, the bill you got from the power company is actually a check paying you. But even more than that, imagine the security and comfort that you'll feel every night when you lay down to sleep knowing that your family is safe from any sort of natural disaster and immune from the unfair price gouging by the greedy energy companies. What would that kind of security and financial relief mean to you? Could you finally start putting money into that college fund account for your kids that you've neglected because times are hard? Maybe you're like me, and you can start putting that money towards your retirement so you can someday ditch your soul-sucking job and spend more time with your wife and kids. Or you could just finally get a taste of some good things in life that you've always wanted, like a once-in-a-lifetime family vacation that you or your kids will remember forever. The possibilities are only limited by your imagination. But one thing is certain, you won't be able to do any of that with the other types of alternative energy systems on the market. Just take a quick look at what else is out there and you'll see how poorly the other options stack up against the magnifier engine. Of course, the green energy people are always talking about solar panels, but you can't get one of those systems installed in your home for under $10,000. And what will you do when the weather turns sour? You'll be stuck paying full price for gas and electricity and once again lining the pockets of the energy giants with your hard-earned cash. Of course, there's a wind turbine, but that technology is in its infancy. And who wants an ugly windmill sticking out of their home? Plus, they don't say fickle like the wind for no reason. Don't forget about gas generators either, if you like having a roaring engine that you have to fill with expensive gas all the time. Given all of that, I don't know why you wouldn't want quiet, reliable, and maintenance-free energy from the Magnifier engine. With the comprehensive and easy-to-follow blueprints, illustrated guides, and over-the-shoulder videos that you'll get with this program, you simply follow along as we build the entire engine in a couple short hours, one simple step at a time. With it, you can start harnessing the focused power of the sun's rays, turning them into free and limitless energy for your home. So let's get down to brass tacks. How much to invest to get the Magnifier engine? Well, you need to first understand that there's nothing else out there like the Magnifier engine in existence. Believe me, I tried. I scoured the depths of the internet, talked with alternative energy experts, and even met with some energy startup hotshots, all in the hopes that one of them could help me save my marriage, slash my energy bills, and get reliable energy for my home. They all told me the same thing. The Magnifier engine is unlike anything else out there when it comes to security, freedom, and reliability. And that's really what this is all about, right? It's not about the money, getting back at the energy conglomerates, or even energy. It's about keeping your family and loved ones safe, comfortable, and secure. That's why I'm so passionate about the Magnifier engine, because I don't want anyone to have to go through what I went through. I want everyone to have the freedom and power to save their hard-earned money so that they can keep their family safe and provide a comfortable and happy home. Whether that means you're saving an extra $1,000 or $2,000 a year on energy for your retirement, or you're taking that money and heading out on a vacation to build a lifetime of joyful memories, you'll still always know that your home is a place where you and your family find shelter, warmth, and comfort. That peace of mind is literally priceless, and 66,492 other hard-working Americans have already invested in that absolute security at the regular retail price of $297. And let me just say, my inbox is full of emails from our customers who are thrilled with that price, because they know that it's saving them sometimes up to $200 in the first month alone, and often up to 10 times that much in the course of a year. So while $297 is obviously a killer deal for the complete Magnifier engine kit, I know that times are hard out there for a lot of folks. I've been there myself not too long ago. If it wasn't for the Magnifier engine, who knows where my dear wife and I would be? We might be living with our kids, or even worse, living out of our car just trying to find someplace warm to sleep. Even talking about it again gives me a pain in my stomach, which is why right now, only from this video, instead of paying the normal $297 retail price for the Magnifier engine, you can get the entire system, the blueprints, detailed materials list, illustrated instructions, and over-the-shoulder videos for just $47. That's a savings of $250, and you can claim it now by clicking the yellow button you see below this video. But you don't need to take action immediately, and here's why. A few months after putting the Magnifier engine system up online, I started to get strange emails from someone at one of the local energy companies named Thomas Mink. The emails just said that they knew what I was up to, that they didn't like it, and that if I didn't stop, then they would take legal action against me. Honestly, if anything, those emails just made me even more pissed at those power cartels than I'd already been, and even more determined to get the Magnifier engine system into as many people's hands as possible. But in the last few weeks, the emails I've been receiving have become increasingly threatening, to the point where some of them are even threatening violence against my family. I already notified the police about these threats, but they said that there's no one named Thomas Mink at the power company, so they can't do anything about it. Meanwhile, I'm left being threatened constantly, and I'm becoming increasingly worried for the safety of my loved ones. Which means that the moment I think the danger has become too real or too immediate, I'll have no choice but to take this video down forever. So you have to act right now and click the button right below this video. Once you do that, you'll be taken to our secure checkout server, where you can enter your order details. It only takes a few seconds, and once completed, you will be immediately taken backstage to our Members Only area. From that Members Only area, you'll have instant access to the blueprints, materials list, and illustrated guides, along with the over-the-shoulder videos where I show you exactly how to build the Magnifier engine step by step from scratch. You can view everything right online from your computer, tablet, or smartphone, and you can also download or print out as many copies of the list, guides, and blueprints as you'd like. But that's not all. If you run into any problems, you won't be alone, not even for a second, because you're also going to get access to unlimited 24/7 email help and support forever. Building the Magnifier engine is going to be one of the easiest and painless projects you've ever done. But on the off chance that you do have some questions, I'm just an email away to help you with whatever you need. After you click the button and go through our secure checkout system, I'll give you my personal email address. Then, if you have any questions whatsoever, simply shoot me an email and I'll personally work with you to get your issue resolved. I check my email very frequently, so you can expect an answer within hours. Less than 0.01 of people ever need to take advantage of this lifetime support, but I still want you to have the security of knowing that should any complication arise, I'm right there in your corner, waiting to help. And speaking of being in your corner, when you invest in the Magnifier engine today, you're going to get my 60-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. This is how it works. All you have to do is say maybe to the Magnifier engine right now. Click the button and join the 66,493 other patriots who have decided they've had enough of big energy sucking up their precious dollars. Follow along on the over-the-shoulder videos and illustrated guides and see exactly how simple and fast it is to start hacking away at your energy bill. And if for whatever reason you're not happy with this decision, even if you don't like the colors we use in our video guides, or if you only end up saving $50 a month or even $100 a month and you wanted to save $150, you can send me an email to my personal address, the one that you'll get in just a few seconds, and I'll instantly refund your investment with no questions asked. I'm totally fine taking all the risk on this because I've already seen so many Americans just like you save a combined $38 million per year thanks to the Magnifier engine. And right now, you have the opportunity to try this simple electricity-generating breakthrough for yourself, completely risk-free for the next 60 days. Right now, the choice is yours. You could just let this video finish and click away, trying to forget what you just heard. Make that decision, and each month will be more of the same. Another outrageous bill for $120, $170, or even $220 or more. And that familiar sting in your gut from knowing that you could have chopped that energy bill by 90%, or even completely demolished it, if you'd simply made the risk-free investment in the Magnifier engine today. So stop fighting an energy war in your own home with your family. Get rid of the daily or weekly arguments over the thermostat forever. Gain your freedom. The answer that you've been looking for is right in front of you, and all it takes is the simple click of that button you see at the bottom of this video. Our members-only area, with all the blueprints, detailed materials list, illustrated guides, and over-the-shoulder videos, is just a few seconds away. And so is your energy independence. You can get started today and have your own Magnifier engine built in the next 3 hours. You'll be amazed at how quickly the hundreds of dollars you save each month add up in your bank account. And you'll love the security, comfort, and peace that you'll feel, knowing that your family is safe and sound no matter what happens. I'll be there to help you with unlimited lifetime email support that's available 24/7 whenever you need it. And of course, you'll be protected by my Platinum 60-day, no questions asked money-back guarantee. But I can't invest in the Magnifier engine for you. The choice is yours right now. So if you want to join me and the other 66,492 American families who have discovered what it feels like to be truly energy independent and start powering your home with the free and limitless energy of the sun, go ahead and click that yellow button you see now. and I'll meet up with you in that members-only area of this website in just a few seconds from now. Still here? No problem. I bet you're probably feeling pretty shocked, right? You've probably always thought that there was no real way to break free from the slavery of the energy monopolies, especially not for less than $100 and about 3 hours of your time. So let me go ahead and answer some of the most frequently asked questions I get asked about the Magnifier engine right now. That way, you can feel 100% confident when you make your small investment and get this whole system today. 1. What's included with my investment in the Magnifier engine again? First, you get the entire materials list you'll need to build the Magnifier engine and start hacking away at your energy consumption. Everything you need can be purchased at your hardware store easily and cheaply. But you probably already have a lot of the required items sitting right in your garage right now, or can find them down at the town junkyard for free. Second, you'll get our illustrated guides for assembling all of the parts. This includes every little connection, screw, bolt, and assembly step, all illustrated beautifully and clearly so that anyone with a pair of working eyes can escape from under the oppressive thumb of big energy. Finally, you'll also get our over-the-shoulder videos where I walk you through every step of the process. Each video is very detailed and shot in HD. You simply need to follow along and copy what I'm doing, and you'll be able to construct your Magnifier engine and have it powering your home in less than 3 hours. And remember, because the parts you'll use are pretty basic and durable, your engine will be incredibly rugged. There's virtually zero maintenance required, and it's resistant to rain, snow, wind, and other elements. 2. How big will my Magnifier engine be? It's about the size of a small sewing desk. That makes it great because it's both completely portable and also very discreet. 3. How much is this really going to cost me to build? Typically, people spend about $100 on their Magnifier engine if they get everything brand new. But I've also had thousands of people write and email me to tell me that they built theirs for free. Those people simply took a little extra time to visit their local junkyard and found that almost every part they needed was right there waiting for them. 4. How much money can I really plan on saving with the Magnifier engine? Generally, people who use the Magnifier engine save about 80% on their home power bill. They normally run it on solar and then switch it to running on gas or electricity when there isn't sunlight available. On average, that works out to about $20 for gas or electricity costs per month, total. 5. What are the terms of the guarantee again? You have a full 60 days to try out the Magnifier engine for yourself. If for any reason you're not satisfied with your investment, you simply send me an email and you'll get an immediate refund. Plus, remember, you'll also have lifetime email support. That means if you ever have a question, whether it's in those first 60 days or 6 years from now, I'm right here to help. 6. Okay, I'm ready to slash my power bill by 70%. How do I get started? Simply click the yellow button you see below this video. Do that now, and you could be in the members area of the Magnifier engine system in 30 seconds. So go ahead and click that button now, and I'll see you on the inside in a couple of minutes.